Now, when you're drinking a lot, whether it be beer, scotch, wine, whatever you, sometimes you drink a little bit too much, and then you kind of just go night night. Beer, 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 beer. Hello everybody, welcome back to me, Maple Brewski, for the Rooski Brewski review. And today the beer I have for you is by the Oskar Blues Brewery out in Colorado, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Colorado? I really think it is. Yes, Colorado, USA. This is their Good Night, G apostrophe night, like knight in shining armor. Imperial Red IPA, coming in at 8.7% alcohol by volume and an unlisted IBU. At least I don't see any here on the small 355 ml can. Got this in a 4-pack for $10. But yes, Good Night Imperial Red IPA. I've had Imperial IPAs, 100% for sure, but an Imperial Red IPA, haven't done that. So I'm a little excited to see what this is all about. So let's crack it open. Let's see what we got. I don't have many nails, and this tab's giving me a little issue, so use a bottle cap, because bottle caps are your friends. Sometimes, who knows? And it's gonna just do a little cool. We're gonna pour it into my Muskoka Brewery IPA style glass. Let's pour. Oh, okay, that's a pretty color. That seems to be a good amount of beer. Let's move the hard drive out of the way. We're going to take a look at this beer right now. It is not super red. Definitely more looking like a West Coast deep copper. Very slightly brown amber, deep copper with a nice off-white head on top. A little bit of haze in there. Nothing too crazy though. Very nice. Let's have a smell. Let's see what the aromas are like. Definitely much more malty than hoppy. You're getting a bit of bit of caramel, bit of toffee. Moving into some nice light pine, but definitely malt forward, which is kind of surprising for an IPA. Also, there's a bit of a funky smell. I just want to check the date on this. Canned on 11/07/18. So back in November. So that's about November, January, February, March. Now March. It's about 4 months old. And I'm sort of getting that slightly in the nose. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm a little mistaken here. But it does smell like it's going a little bit off. Just for pre-warning. That's what I'm smelling. But definitely big malty aromas rather than hoppy citrusiness. There's a little bit of woodsiness going on in here as well. But very interesting. Let's have a sip. So, sip-wise, good flavor. Definitely not going bad yet, but I want to say it's on the cusp of just turning a little bit. But flavor in here, super malty. Holy moly! Where you when it comes to IPAs, you have your regular, just straight up IPAs, very hop forward. Big, citrus, grapefruit, pine, all those sort of flavors and aromas. Then you have your West Coast IPAs, which are a bit more of a balance between maltiness and hoppiness. And then you have this, where it's much more malt forward through and through the beer, with a very light hint of IPA sort of flavors and aromas of the grapefruit and pine. But this is predominantly caramel and toffee. Little bit of woodsy, slightly nutty even. Definitely more malt forward of a beer. Interesting stuff. Cheers, everybody. Let's keep on drinking and dive in a little bit deeper. Now this is sweet. Almost like caramelized candy sweetness, like caramelized sugars. That's the kind of sweetness that I'm getting off of it, like a nice brown sugar with caramel, a little bit of toffee going on, slight nuttiness, very faint woodsiness, and then in the finish, that's where you're getting more of your pine and grapefruit and hop bitterness. So it's like a backwards West Coast IPA almost, which is really, really cool. Because for me, I'm actually enjoying it better than I would a West Coast IPA. But yeah, also at the same time, not super bitter. Considering 8.7%, the maltiness really takes over a lot of that hop bitterness to it. Taking a guess, I want to put it at anywhere between 40 and 50 IBUs. But we're going to take a gander on the website, see if it has to say anything about that. Sadly, I don't think it does. Nothing that I see. Oh, I see it here actually. Sorry about that. 60 IBUs. Maybe I'm just really used to bitterness or what, but 60? I'm not really getting that. Like I said, 40 to 50 for me makes sense in my head. But I can believe the 60, but I think it's just that caramelized sugar component or flavor that I'm getting really cuts through a lot of that bitterness and rounds it out a lot, and not so aggressive in your face, hitting the palate with those traditional IPA bitterness units, which is very, very interesting to me. Moving over to the can, Good Night Imperial Red IPA. Very nice looking can, green and chrome. Like I said, 8.7% alcohol by volume. Apparently 60 IBUs, but okay. On the back we do have a description and it reads, Good night. If you knew the man behind this tribute, this dry hopped ale, needs no explanation. If you didn't, we're sorry. So I guess no explanation is fine. Pack it in, pack it out. That's just recycling sort of info, little fun little thing, slogan. I don't know what you call it. You got your government warning from the Surgeon General. Don't drink if you're pregnant. Don't drink and drive or operating heavy machinery. That's not good. Don't do that stuff. Please don't. If you do, you're an idiot and shame on you. Infinitely recyclable, blah, 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 blah. Oskar Blues Brewery from Longmont, Colorado, USA. And then you have your LCBO sticker for the international brews. Websites and all that fun stuff. And on the bottom, you have your brewed on date, canned on 11, I want to say 07, 18. So, very, very nice. Great stuff. All it's missing is ingredients and IBUs. Because, yeah, I don't read any ingredients. Actually, I do, but that was put on by the LCBO. Thank you, LCBO. At least you're good for something. Water, barley malt, wheat, hops, and yeast. Yeah. Moving over to the website now, OskarBlues.com. You come over to the beer section and you find the Good Night. And it was originally released in 2005. There is a description here as well, and it reads, Our Velvet M80 is a hefty, dry-hopped, double red IPA with a nose full of aromas, a sticky mouthfeel, a malty middle, and a unctuous, I don't know the word, hop flavors. Goodnight sports a surprisingly sensuous finish for a beer of its size. 8.7% ABV, 60 IBUs. It's brewed in tribute to a fellow Colorado craft beer pioneer and Vietnam vet who died fighting a 2002 wildfire outside of our hometown of Lyons, or Lyons, Lyons. Sorry if I butchered it. That's actually pretty cool. Good stuff. The also does do the color SRM scale, and it's actually at a 10. Other than that, 8.7%. Untapped rating is showing of a 3, almost 3.5 stars. Other than that, going down, nothing else. You get a little description of it, very, very nice dedication of who it talks about, and the SRM, and IBU list as well. Very, very nice. Speaking of which, like I mentioned earlier, you can pick up this beer for $10. No, not just the single can. It comes in a 4-pack at the LCBO for $10 flat. Finally, we're going to move over to Untappd. And Untappd is showing that Goodnight Oskar Blues. And finally, moving over to Untappd, Goodnight is coming in at 3.87 bottle caps out of 5, and that's out of a whopping over 104,000 ratings. So it's been around for a decent amount of time, and a lot of people have enjoyed it. 104,000. That's just the Untappd number. All the people that don't go on Untappd, tons more. Tons more. Overall, very, very interesting beer. Very, very nice stuff, and a decent head retention for sure. Nice lacing on the glass too. Wow, yeah, it's like very similar to a West Coast IPA, but definitely more on the malty side than a West Coast. It's interesting. It's a very, very interesting beer, but great flavor. Cheers on the final sip. Let's get right to ratings. Goodnight Imperial. Goodnight Imperial Red IPA. It's a little bit of a mouthful. 8.7%, 60 IBUs. Does not taste like a 60 IBU beer, but big toffee, caramel, caramelized brown sugars. And then moving into your more hoppy, grapefruity, slightly piney finish. Medium-bodied beer. Beautiful stuff. Just a nice, I don't know, it's a good beer. It warms you up. That's what it does. The maltiness really warms you up in here. And it goes down like a damn dream. I'm quite surprised. I didn't know what to expect when I saw red Imperial IPA. I was a little worried, didn't know how it was going to go. But even for the color, it's not really red. Nothing like a Rickard's red or anything like that color-wise. Definitely more of a like a deep copper or a deep amber in color. Overall, solid stuff. A solid 8 out of 10 for me. As for the presentation, I like the can. It looks very busy, even though it really isn't. Not one of my favorite can designs, but that's okay. Nothing too much to complain about. Good information. All it's missing are IBUs. Realistically, it has a description, has your ingredients posted by the LCBO. Thank you. And brewed on date on the bottom. Good stuff. Looking at the website again, though, it's a nice looking website, but information is sort of lacking. Nice description and SRM color rating, but throw in some other stuff, food pairing, stuff like that. That'd be just a great addition. Overall, presentation gets a solid 7.5 out of 10 for me. Before I leave you guys, if you have any comments, questions, or beers you want me to review in the future, leave all of that information down in the comment box below. If you want to go ahead and like this video or subscribe to me, Mate Brewski, we greatly appreciate it as well. With all that said, that's going to do it for me, Mate Brewski. Like I always say, crack and enjoy. Cheers. And now we pour the rest of the beer into the IPA glass. It's going to be a short pour because it's a small can. It's not a big boy. It's a little short boy. But we're going to shake it a little bit. There you go. Cheers.